Dr. Jason Dean with Revolution Health, and as we get people following this feed right now, we are actually in Dallas, Texas, which Central Time, so I don't know, it's 8 o'clock or so, something like that. And I am actually with, I have to admit, a good friend of mine, Ethan Dangberg of the 5 a.m. crew. And 5 a.m. crew may not make sense yet, but as we dive in, we're going to. And he's actually here, we're at a seminar, and Ethan is fantastic at driving people. So first off, thanks for being on the show, man.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
We're doing a little bit different setup. We're doing live today, literally live on the spot. He's with me, which I love. It's more fun. But let's just jump right in. So the first thing is, because we have a lot of viewers who, some practitioners out there, which you work with practitioners on a daily basis, right?
Yep.
And then some people who are just literally trying to improve their health. You know, they might be in just a situation where they're doing okay, but they want to get better. Or you might have a situation where they're chronically ill and they're looking for things to figure out. Or people out there who own businesses who are like, hey, I just want to be better at what I do on a daily basis. So in your world, you work with practitioners all the time, but also you're working with people too, because some people don't feel good when they're at these conferences. Tell me how you got involved in all of this coaching and even the 5 a.m. crew.
Yeah, we'll start with the 5 a.m. crew. You know, I used to be one of the laziest guys you could think of. I was never a morning person. Surfing on my cell phone at nights until the wee hours of the morning, just being that person who goes like this with their phone, doing that until 1 o'clock, just mindless stuff, you know, falling on your face because you're falling asleep. I mean, and getting up at the last possible minutes, not being prepared for my day, snoozing the alarm 5 or 6 times, always being exhausted, running out the door, not having a good breakfast, grab a bagel and a coffee, and start my day in reactivity mode. And over the years, I just started realizing working with multiple successful practitioners and actually traveling to their offices and doing coaching programs with their staff and training on site. I learned that a lot of these very successful doctors that had in their business what I would want in my future career were doing things very consistently. And one of those things was getting up early in the freaking morning. And once I started putting my attention on that, and understanding that is actually a thing, I started seeing it happening elsewhere. So not only was I seeing it in successful people I was working with that had what I wanted and were doing the things necessary to get there, they were doing things like getting up at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, having an entire day to prep their body, to prep their mind, to get their nervous system woken up and their mind stimulated before they ever walked into their office or into their job. And I first saw this at a client I was working with in North Carolina. And it was a funny story. I was not working out at the time, but I had worked out in the past. This was about maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And so I still thought I could work out. Sometimes when we worked out years ago, we still think we're in shape. When you look in the mirror, you kind of go, I still kind of have sort of a pec there, I think, you know. You get to get rudely awakened by a CrossFit workout, right? And so this is the client I was working with, and he says, hey, if you want to join me for a CrossFit workout, you said you used to work out and stuff and kind of work out. Hey, join me at 5 a.m. tomorrow, I'm in the 5 a.m. class. And I was like, yeah, no problem, I'll be there. And I committed to it, and I went, oh, what did I just get myself into? Now, mind you, I'm a California guy. Pacific time. I was in North Carolina, so this was going to be 2 o'clock, a 2 a.m. CrossFit workout my time, and hadn't worked out. I mean, it was just a bad scene all around. But I got up and I got my ass kicked, right, big time. And I realized how out of shape I was, and my health was not where it should have been. But I started seeing what his routine looked like. So his was every morning, about 4 days a week, not every morning, but about 4 days a week, he was doing a CrossFit workout, 5 a.m. And he would do a little mindfulness before he'd go to that CrossFit workout. It was workout, he'd go straight to the office. He already had his shake there ready to go. A little Vitamix in the blender he could use. He had his polo shirt, his slacks, his khakis, and his shoes already there. He had a shower built into his practice for this exact reason. He was in his office, showered, ready to go by around 6:30, 6:45. Went through a series of reports of his practice so that his staff would turn into him to quality control all the different protocols in his office to make sure his patients are being taken care of properly. He'd have an executive meeting at 7:30, like a team meeting first thing in the morning, fully prepared and ready to go. And that guy had already experienced an entire morning of preparation and getting his mind to the game. And I went, wow, there's something to that. And I saw that pattern repeat again and again. And I saw more successful people were getting up early and doing these routines that was building them into a proactive, successful individual, because the fires were always going to be there. Now they just were able to put them out or squelch them before they even started.
Totally, it's so true. I mean, we do a lot of self-help books, reading how to improve yourself.
Yeah.
And it's very true, like Ethan's saying, is there's so many executives, successful people, CEOs, whatever it is, that are doing this whole get up in the morning, and almost getting accomplished a whole day work, or at least a half a day work, before everyone else is even getting up or getting to the office for a second.
Yeah.
Now, the show is Revolution Health. So I want you to take me to somewhere as dark as you want to go, on your own personal journey, because we've talked a little bit, we've shared a few of these, but to let them know, like, they're not the only ones out there that have had some rough times, whether it was work, success, or health. Give me a story. Tell me what has changed you a little bit over the years.
Yeah, well, I'll start off with the fact that I was very fortunate. I guess I'll start with a good story. You know, my parents understood the health paradigm the right way growing up. So I was never given cough syrup as a kid. I didn't have, choking down antihistamines and a bunch of vaccines growing up. My parents are very health-minded. They were called hippies by their coworkers at work, for having to treat this way. I never was, because of that, I've never had any major health issues so far in my life. And I think that I'm very blessed for that reason. My parents, and I was given a good life growing up. So physically, I've never had any limitations from that regard. And I'm 32, and I think if I keep my health with good discipline now, I can continue that into an older age. But that's my physical health, right? I've gone through my own demons mentally, spiritually, I think like we all have. And that then does affect your health, and that's probably the biggest thing I realized was, having addictions of all kinds, going through a massive gambling addiction in my 20s. Most people think that's more innocent than drugs, but it's just as bad, if not worse, because it's a very expensive habit.
Sure.
Very expensive. And it has all the same ramifications in your life that drugs will have. And that happened, went on for years, and it ruined so many years of my life. And I saw my health deteriorating slowly, physically in that period of time. Drinking because of that, eating terrible food, not sleeping. I don't know, Jason, if you can, playing poker for 36 hours straight without sleeping.
Wow.
If that's not a drug, I don't know what is. It's the same equivalent, things that brain chemistry happen when you're on crystal meth. It's insane. So going through those dark times taught me a lot. It taught me a lot in that if you don't work on yourself, you can stray off the path like that.
Sure.
You can have a great upbringing, have all the luxuries of life. You can have good people around you. You could have all the things that seemingly make a good life and been taught the right standards and values. And just like that, you're off the deep end into something that's going to ruin your life and turn you down a dark corner. And then coming out of that is very difficult. It's for years. I'd have physical reactions driving by a casino. And it took a long time to move back from that. A lot of personal growth, a lot of investment in myself to move out of that. And it was very difficult. It was very tough. And I know those watching might not be able to relate to that. And it wasn't a physical dependency, like a physical substance dependency, I should say. But difficult. Difficult to not to say the least. But it's one of those things where it's almost in a way like I needed something in my life to teach me how delicate life is, and also how important it is that we live in a society that doesn't respect standards, doesn't respect values, doesn't respect ethics, right? Of self and of those around them. And there are those that do, and I think that many people that are watching your program understand that. But a lot of our society promotes things that aren't conducive to our health. So, if you're trying to take a break from the stresses of work and go home and, you watch, reality TV is just your vice, just that one thing to kind of this escapism that you have, you're watching something like the Kardashians or something on TLC or the Oxygen Network that's promoting unethical behavior. It's promoting low standards of human interaction and value-based connection with people. It promotes a way of living that seems glamorous, but is filled with pain, strife, and struggle and materialism. And when that gets promoted, then when you're watching those shows, what do you think that's being promoted in between every commercial break? Drugs. You're already depressed from work. Your escapism is the Kardashians or Housewives, whatever it is, right? Or even sports.
Sure.
So that's an escapism, in some cases. And then in between, you're escaping from the frustrations of life and the things that are you can't live with anymore, and you can escape to something that hopefully is going to do something to entertain you, and then you're just programmed every single commercial break into making you feel insecure about yourself or to solve a problem with your health that you're having that really is just going to put you farther down the rabbit hole. And dwindling spiral continues. And you have to turn that shit off, man. You gotta turn the TV off. You gotta turn your phone off sometimes. You gotta put yourself around people that are gonna do good things for you. You gotta fill your own tank up every single day. You gotta make your morning that time to where you spend time with yourself. And you focus on who you are. You focus on what you want. You focus on everything you're grateful for. You focus on what it is that who I have to be, do, and have to be successful in my life. Stop comparing yourself to somebody else and start comparing yourself to a better person of yourself. These are really important things that we have to embrace with our morning routine. We have to look at and take that time, because you're not going to get time otherwise. Because from when you walk into the office or when the family wakes up in the morning, it's go time for everybody else the entire day until you put your head in the pillow. And there's one chance you get, and I'm sure many of your viewers have families and careers and businesses, and they're spending their life for others, and it's virtuous. It's amazing, right? Helping other people. But there are times where it's very important to help yourself, to invest the time, which is in your morning, and then money in yourself. Invest in yourself, because you'll be the best investment long term, and realize it can all be gone in a minute. You can fall down a path in a second. I mean, how many patients do you have that live in a fine life and then have an injury, and then boom, they're a statistic in that opioid crisis right now.
Totally.
Just like that.
Absolutely. Now, 5 a.m.
Yeah.
No snooze on the alarm.
Not
allowed to do it.
Not allowed to do it.
Right. Now, take us through, because you've been through the highs of other things in life, some not good, right?
Yeah.
Now, when you don't necessarily want to have to get up, because we've all been through that. I mean, we've all been up early, we've all worked out, and it does suck sometimes at that time in the morning. But when you get in the gym to do what you're doing, take me through some of the mental stuff you deal with, but also that rush that you're getting from starting that out. Take us through that, like that little phase in the first part of it.
Our own words, our own self-talk is no more strong than when that alarm goes off in the first 2 minutes when you wake up.
Totally.
I mean, I've literally had, and I think everyone can relate, full-blown dialogue conversations with myself about all the different options I have. If I snooze, don't wake up, get up, and I'm just like literally solving an algorithm with myself on how I can not make this work.
Totally.
Right? And everyone goes through that. And it's funny how loud that voice is first thing in the morning. I don't know why it is that way. It just is. And so I think, man, that we're soft, man. We're comfortable. We live in America in a great economic time with opportunity everywhere. And you don't have to get up at 5 a.m.
No.
You're not going to starve and die tomorrow if you don't. You don't.
Totally.
And that's the problem sometimes with choice, is that you make a commitment, right? But you don't follow through with it. It's up to you and nobody else. No one's going to hold you accountable to it besides you. So you have to be super clear on your vision, super clear on why you're doing it, and then, of course, have your routine in place so it motivates you to do it in the morning. So just a little walkthrough of how it works for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And some people, I know you work out hard and heavy sometimes.
Sure.
But we're going to have people everywhere from who've never even lifted a weight to the people who have and they just want to get back on. So take us through what you're doing, but then also what people can do if they're not prepared for, obviously, hard squats and everything else.
Yeah, for sure. So first thing in the morning, to get yourself up and realize that just by not hitting the alarm is you're in task completion mode right away for the first morning rise you're open. Every moment you hit the snooze button, you are going into procrastination mode and setting a mindset for the rest of your day. So if you snooze your alarm 3 times and then get yourself in the last minute, you're going to start working on tasks at work, tasks in life, projects at work, time with your family, time with yourself, last minute, and pushing things off, because you're already starting that habit first thing in the morning. So the first thing I would say, step 0, is the alarm's off, you're up, you're prepared. What I always do is, so exercise is important in the morning, whether it's a walk around the block or a full-blown workout. I have my tennis shoes and my socks, my gym shorts, my wallet, keys, and phone, my bottle of water, my shirt, my hat, everything is laid out and ready to go the night before. So I learned a long time ago, prior proper planning prevents poor performance. So plan the night before, have this all lined up, have the coffee and the Keurig, have everything ready to go before you go to bed. And then have the alarm set. So first thing in the morning, before your body knows what's hit it, you're already in your shoes, in your shorts, and you already have coffee and water in hand, right? Now, important though, don't drink coffee first. With coffee weight, get yourself 8 ounces of a glass of water first thing in the morning to hydrate your body. That'll get you awake first thing more than coffee will do.
Right.
And then enjoy yourself a cup of coffee if that's something you choose to do. So that's step 0, is getting up when the alarm goes off. The next thing is take a moment for yourself. So a little silence is really nice. It's just good to just recalibrate your ears, let your mind calm down. I like just to have some silence, whether it's a walk around the block, into my car. I like to get in my car sometimes and sometimes just sit there for 2 or 3 minutes and just observe the silence and just kind of be there in the moment and let myself reset. And then I'm ready to go. I want to get the body awake and get the nervous system open and woken up, right? I want to get my nervous system activated.
Sure.
And that's why I find that physical exercise is the next best thing to do. Now again, whether it could just be a walk around the block or going into a full-blown studio exercise of some sort. I like studio exercises, classes in the morning because it keeps me accountable. If I put my name in the night before, I can't not show up. They're going to charge me for it anyway.
Right.
And I have people there that are going to keep me accountable.
You put money on the line. Like you just they charge you if you don't show up.
Oh yeah,
so,
yeah. I'm part of a studio where if I don't show up, they're still going to charge you $20 that session.
Wow.
Yeah. So if I don't show up, it's my money.
Accountability.
It's accountability. Then I have my people there.
Got it.
I have my group. I have my tribe. They're all there at 5 a.m. ready to go. Right. So it really keeps me accountable, and I have something to look forward to. Right. And once I go through a workout, I'm just like, my energy's high, I'm awake, like, after a workout, I can take a nice shower to cool off and to clean up, but I'm ready to go, and then I do some personal growth. I'm always going to do some reading in the morning, whether it's going to be an audiobook or sitting down and physically reading. It's very important, whether it's business or health. I'm sure with your patients, there is a plethora of important material you'd want them to learn and to read about.
Totally.
To help enhance their process and empower them to do better with their health as they're getting treated in your office. So there's always time to do it. Take 10 or 15 minutes in the morning to do that. So I'm doing a little bit of reading, and I'm always scribing my goals every single morning. One of the most important things I learned from one of our clients, Carl Johari, he taught me every morning, every night, you scribe your goals. What do you want in life, and document it every day. Set your vision for yourself before your day begins. And then I set in place a plan of action I call battle plan, right? Where now that I've got my mind in the game, did some personal growth, I got my exercise, I'm in task completion mode, had some silence for myself, I'm ready, I visualize what I want, I have my goals written down. Now I set the table. Now I'm going to go ahead and do what my wife did, what she taught me with her money, I'm going to do with my time. My wife is very, very, very good at handling money.
We've talked about
right?
that before, yeah.
I joke and I say she's the Nazi of financial planning, right? She is amazing. But one principle she taught me, when I was obviously having a gambling addiction, my 20s, poor financial management skills and very poor discipline with that. One thing she taught me, I married into my weakness and someone else's strength, which is the perfect.
I've done the same thing. It's good.
Score for us, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's very important, right? It's important because she taught me a lesson. Every dollar of a paycheck before we ever spent it in reality was spent on paper first. So she would have a spreadsheet. Everything on our money was allocated in exact spots before the check ever hit the account. And then she would just follow her system, and the money would go in the exact spot. Now, it was also leisure money or money towards a gift or money towards something for myself or towards debt, whatever, paying bills. But it was always allocated before it was actually spent. And that taught me a lesson. Time and money are some of our most valued commodities or resources in our life.
Right.
And the laws of money are the same thing with the laws of time. They're both a resource. You have to respect it, or else it'll take you over.
Yeah.
So I took the same principle from that she taught me with finances. And I said, what if I applied that to time? What if I planned my day in a way and took tools from all the greats like Tim Ferriss and Stephen A. Covey and Brian Tracy and said, these guys have systems around time management, and we learned from that. But let me try to spend every minute of my day on paper first before I spend it in reality. Let me try that. I'll repeat it one more time. It's important people get that.
Sure.
Spend your entire day on paper first before you spend a minute of it in reality. And you set the stage, you set your own day of what you want. And that's what I do in a battle plan. So I try to do it, I take my top biggest priorities I have today, and I block book them the best I can throughout the day, so I'm getting the things I gotta get done that day. I learned that you can't get everything done in a day, but you can get done the things that need to get done, right? If you plan it effectively. So I do a battle plan for myself, I plan out my day, and then that's when I go and get dressed and tackle the day, make it happen.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, that's awesome.
Yep.
And I can tell it obviously sets your day up for everything. Say there's somebody out there that's doing this, and one day they fall. They don't get it. They don't get it done.
Yep.
Now, I'm sure you've had days like that where it wasn't perfect, right?
Yep.
Do you quit on it, or do you put yourself back in the driver's seat?
It ain't a black and white scenario, man. This isn't an all-in or nothing scenario, right? This is a learning curve. This is a process, and I think people need to start focusing on the process more than being obsessed on the results. We live in an instant gratification society where everything we eat has to taste a certain way and create a certain level of satisfaction. Everything we do has to have a certain result. We have to, every time we check our phone, there has to be a dopamine hit from our social media.
You gotta have a like, right?
We gotta have a like or something, right? And we all fall prey to that.
All of us.
And we just obsess over the results. We are being sold things on commercials on television of how insecure we are. And here's a result you can get if you purchase this thing and right? That's where the whole problem of take this pill and that's where that comes in too. Everyone wants the instant result to the problem. And I think that when people focus more on the process, and the result will come. So when I'm doing my morning routine, I haven't been perfect from day one, but it's the process of it that I'm focused on. And the result comes through consistency. The same, I'm sure, happens with your patients. You can't just see someone one time and expect to get them better. They gotta invest in the process of repetition of what you guys have them do.
Right.
And that's how they get better, not from expecting a result and seeing or not seeing in the first visit.
Totally.
With your doctor. I think that the same thing applies with any discipline, especially with your morning routine. You can't expect 1 or 2 5 a.m. crews to happen and have your life changed. Right? A friend of mine showed me this meme on social media. It's hilarious. It says, every time I turn the faucet off when I'm brushing my teeth, and it shows this guy in nature, like with all the animals, and I'm like, I'm Mr. Nature now from turning his faucet off one time for 2 seconds during while he's brushing his teeth. And that's how we think a lot. We do one little tiny thing, we expect this massive result, right? And it's focus on the process and the repetition, the discipline of that, and the result will happen before you even know.
Absolutely. Now, you're a motivated guy. You motivate others. I mean, that's actually part of your job. Now, I know you don't love the fact of the motivation word's a weird one because, and I posted earlier today, I can be motivated all day long, but what really need is accountability.
Yeah.
But from a motivation standpoint, because I know you are big into reading, you're big into pushing yourself personally to develop. Yeah. For anybody out there who is trying to get better health, trying to get healthy, trying to do this, and trying to just create something in their world, give me a book or two that you're going through right now and kind of a pearl from that.
Yeah.
That is pushing you right now and is kind of lately giving you a win that you didn't have before that is really just pushing this thing along.
Totally, yeah. The one book I always refer to for me, and it's you only can get so much out of it, it's a few nuggets, but I think it's good data. There's a book called Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. It's one that it's 21 ways to get more done in less time and stop procrastinating, right? And
Sure.
He gives a lot of these very simple principles I learned from him in the beginning in that book, right? So I try to do this out. That's a great book. The 12-Week Year by Brian Moran, really focusing on planning your life out in 12-week increments and then putting programs in place and things you have to do and steps in place proactively ahead of living your life to achieve the goals in smaller increments of time. No more New Year's resolutions, but getting things done in 12-week periods are 2 big books. And I would always say, outside of those 2 things, whatever you have to do to grow yourself and work on yourself is important, whatever that is for you. And people need to spend aggressively more time investing in themselves and working on themselves. I recommend these books, but not just buy a book, but do something to aggressively put some money on the line, invest a tremendous amount of time to learn and become a better person, which is really the biggest solution.
Totally. Now, before we end tonight, I want some parting wisdom from you.
Yeah.
For not me, even though I'll take it as well, but for anybody listening out there. So earlier today, we were talking to actually some other people and made a mention of in America alone, because this is part of your world and what you're doing. In America, 7 out of 10 people right now are on prescription medications, and then a percentage of those are on either a narcotic of some kind or street drugs. And then on top of that, we have an opioid pain medication crisis that is literally, as Americans, we consume 80% of the entire planet's opium or pain medication. Tell them parting inspiration and motivation. How do they get past that? How do they start this tomorrow? How do they do, not necessarily what you're doing every day, but making that change in your life?
Biggest question I always ask is, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, one step at a time. Start working to live a life being proactive and not reactive. Stop trying to escape and learn to indulge and become somebody in yourself. If you want to have certain things in life, you have to do the things necessary. If you want to do those things and be someone who's capable of getting that kind of stuff done, you have to become a better person. And you become a better person one page at a time, one morning at a time, one reflection at a time, one piece of personal growth at a time, getting rid of one bad person in your life at a time, finding a good person and putting them in your life at a time. You know, some people spend too much time with people that they shouldn't be spending time with, and too little time with people that they should be spending time with. Stop majoring in minor things and start doing the things necessary that you know that you need to do, but just commit to one thing. One thing, as I always say, just you can only get the next thing done. And 5 a.m. might not be the right time for everyone to start doing this. It might just be 15 minutes earlier in the morning to spend some time writing their goals down or to define what they want. And so start with something small and then grow it from there. And if you're the kind of person that goes, I'm all in or I'm nothing, good, then go all in and commit to that. There's a definition, I think I can wrap up with this, a definition that my mentor taught me of commitment. Right? Commitment is doing the thing you said you do far after the emotion in which you said it in has passed. And so many of us get excited about New Year's resolutions and new commitments, and we don't follow through it. It's not meant to be easy. And the things that are simple in life put you in the most uncomfortable positions in life. And there's another little phrase where it says, hard times make strong men make good times, and good times make weak people make hard times. Hard times make strong men make good times, and good times make weak people, and weak people make hard times. And don't fall into that category of being in a good place, a comfortable place in life, and then creating a longer term problem for yourself later on. And commit to the process now of what you know you need to do to be healthy, both physically, in mind, and in spirit.
It can't be stated any better than that. Ethan, I thank you very much for coming on Revolution Health.
Thanks
Do me a favor, absolutely. Go on to Instagram, go on to Facebook, follow Ethan. He's putting up videos, pictures all the time of even him in the gym.
Sure.
Pushing through, doing his thing. Follow it for inspiration. Follow the channel. We'll get having similar people on to Ethan and just showing you how to revolutionize your life like you just did. And revolutionize your health. So Dr. Jason Dean signing off for both Ethan Dangberg and myself. Go follow this man. He knows what he's doing. He not only motivates you, but gives you the plans like tonight to carry this out in your life. So signing off for Revolution Health, this is Dr. Jason Dean, Ethan Dangberg. Have a great night, everybody.